Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the 3L channel where we live and learn by listening. Folks, if you're new here to the channel, my name is Chad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kick your feet up, relax, enjoy some great music. We do BGs, marathons every other weekend. And on the alternate weekends, we do other oldies and classics. If that sparks your interest, consider subscribing to the channel to get locked in right here on the 3L so you don't miss any content that I upload to the platform. And I hope you feel right at home here. There's always more room on the bandwagon. Let's all go on a music journey together. And folks, we're not going to waste any more time. You saw by the title and the thumbnail, folks, do I have a banger for you this weekend? Exclusive Piers Morgan interview with the one and only surviving member of the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb. Highly requested piece. I'm going to split it up in two parts, one this weekend and one next weekend. Are y'all ready for this? Strap in your seat belts, smash that like button. It's all coming right up here in just a second. Let's get it.
Barry Gibb, he's a proper legend, a songwriting genius.
Well, I'm always reflecting on my life. It's been a fantastic adventure.
Barry Gibb, with his brothers, wrote some huge selling records for everyone from Barbra Streisand to you name it.
I wear everything on my sleeve. I try to be as open as I can be.
Barry is now the only one of his brothers still alive. And I think it's had a hugely profound effect. Tonight he's going to talk about this for the first time, really.
I can't wait.
The spotlight goes from the three of us to me, and that's daunting.
Well, Barry Gibb's bringing his guitar, apparently. I'm assuming it's to play
It's okay,
backing
Barry.
to my falsetto.
Piers, I'm looking forward to this. I'll see you in there.
Oh, let's go. I've been waiting for this, man.
We've had some ovations before for people, but few quite with the warmth that you just received there.
It's wonderful, but you know, there's so many familiar faces here that I think it's a setup. I see so many people that I've known for many, many years. You know.
The stats are incredible, Barry, in your career. One of your songs is played on the radio somewhere in the world every 20 seconds.
God. Well, first of all,
Wow.
that's staggering. I've been a fan all my life of so many different artists, so it's very difficult for me to visualize myself. Never been able to do that. I love it because I love the songs.
You've been topping the charts for over half a century. Writing all those songs has made you obviously staggeringly rich. Do you know how much you're worth?
No. I know how much I owe.
Don't we all?
But money isn't the first thing in life for me. It really isn't.
See,
I think
there
having fun is more important than anything else. My firm belief is that the Bee Gees' copyrights are worth than something I can't even imagine.
Like what?
So I can't do that.
If I tried to buy them off you tomorrow?
I'd say to you what I've said to everybody else. It's not for sale. It's not for sale.
There you go, Barry.
One of the unique things about you, Barry, was of course the falsetto voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to make you do too much of this.
It's all right. It's perfectly all right.
Oh, shit.
When was the first moment you realised you had that ability to sing falsetto?
It was a song called Nights on Broadway, and Arif Marden was working with us on the studio at that point in time.
He was a producer, right?
Yes. And he said, so someone's got to go out and scream. I thought, well, I'll volunteer, I'll go out and try it. It was like, you know, baby now! It just came like that, and just kept working it, and everyone kept saying do more of it. I do that every day anyway for a joke to myself in the bedroom.
Do you?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You wake up and you think, it's just me and you, Barry.
As long as I hear that, I know everything's fine. I'm not sure everything's fine for everyone else.
How high can you go?
I don't really know. Hang on. It's really a G. Or maybe it's an A. Yeah, I can stretch it.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's that.
Could you train anybody else to sing falsetto? Could you tell me how to do it?
Yeah. What's the top of your range?
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
But you're about to hear it. So,
Go ahead. Yeah.
is there anything I can do to improve?
Yeah.
What?
Don't do it.
Oh, brutal honesty right there, folks. Brutal honesty.
You have a mercurial genius for songwriting. Where does that ability come from? I mean, are you aware of it? Do you have to work at it?
I wouldn't call it work because it's something you love doing. I love love songs. I love all kinds of romantic songs. But I don't find it to be something that you work at. It comes to you, and my saying is, let it ferment. And so I'll wait a week or two, and it'll write itself. It'll come by on its own.
You wrote 3 #1 singles in one afternoon. It was 1979. It was Tragedy, Too Much Heaven, and Shadow Dancing, which was younger brother Andy's US
Yes,
#1.
he's also co-writer, yeah.
How could you write 3 such massive hits? Just a
There's
few
a couple of
hours?
answers to that.
One is drugs, right?
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
You're all on amphetamines, weren't you? Is that right?
Yes. You could take a pill and get high for 8 hours, 10 hours.
Tell me about what happened that day.
We were sitting in the lounge. Hang on. So, it's just the way you feel at that moment. It's hard to bear with no one to love you. You're going nowhere. That became it. We thought, okay, how do we grow that? First of all, it's the chorus. You know that that's the center. What's the song about? Okay, and that
See, I feel like I'm almost in the room with you now. I mean, it's such a weird... I mean, without the speed, obviously.
Let's do a ballad. Let's write a ballad.
Yeah.
Nobody gets too much love anymore. It's as high as a mountain and harder to climb. Oh.
Where did that... That's amazing, right?
Amazing.
Barry, as soon as you picked up a guitar, you were destined to become one of the world's biggest stars.
I just have to say here, folks, it's just like, I believe it was Linda that said, he just pulls them out of thin air. And I don't know where I saw that somewhere. I might have seen bits and pieces of this, but it's amazing. I've been waiting for so long to just sit down and just soak it all in, every detail. Just watch it from beginning to end. It's amazing.
Barry Gibb, the pop virtuoso who's been filling the dance floors and tugging our heartstrings for more than 5 decades.
Hey!
He's one of the masters. The most fantastic pop song catalogue in history.
ABBA. That's what...
These melodies are exquisite. He just has a very beautiful way of saying things that really touch you.
As the Bee Gees with brothers Robin and Morris, Barry has sold more than 200 million records.
Barry is a great singer, but above all, he's a songwriter.
Barry and his brothers have composed smash hits for a roll call of the
Diana
world's
Ross.
biggest stars.
Barbara. Yes.
Barry is a hit maker, and everybody wanted a hit, including me.
Hey!
Barry began writing songs aged only 8, and when the family moved to Australia 3 years later, he and his...
That is amazing to me. He wrote all these songs, well, with the assistance of his brothers, of course, wrote all these songs for these mega stars. It's simply amazing. They weren't about to go down. That whole, backlash or whatever it was, they said, okay, if you won't take our stuff, we'll play a trick on you and write it for other people and let it be a hit. And you guys won't even know where it's actually coming from.
His brothers began performing in pubs and clubs.
They were playing in places that had things like dancing girls, and they were backstage and women were taking their clothes off, and you know, they're three young kids.
I don't think they had much time for school.
Barry's talent soon caught the eye of TV producers.
Is it true that you write your own pieces, Barry?
It's true, Desmond.
And what are you going to play for us now you've come down from Brisbane?
Time is passing by.
My dad, it just cracks me up. He looked like a greaser. Robin and Morris were just, two adorable kids that had these beautiful voices.
Barry, even at 13, he did have a presence then, you could see.
Now called the Bee Gees, the boys began to release Barry's songs as singles.
So they recorded 4 songs. I said, gee, it's a shame we haven't got half a dozen, Barry. And he said, wait a minute, I'll write a couple. And that's the kind of incredible talent he has.
Yeah.
In search of wider fame and now writing together, the brothers returned to England, and within 6 months they were number 1.
And
the group racked up hit after hit.
We could be watching TV. He'd say, I got an idea. You could do that in the middle of the night. Take his guitar and write a song about it. It's like he just pulls them from the air.
Yeah, that's where I saw
it. In the
it.
mid-70s, the Bee Gees' songwriting was about to hit new heights.
Hey!
What the Bee Gees did was marry their gift for melody with the disco beat.
And when they were asked to record the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever, the Bee Gees were launched into the stratosphere.
The first time I heard Saturday Night Fever, I was green with envy.
Song after song after song. It was so incredible.
It became the biggest selling soundtrack in history.
And it changed the face of music.
Saturday Night Fever is as fresh today as it was then.
That falsetto style of singing, it's amazing.
Barry Gibb's voice is the sound of a whole generation.
By the late 70s, they were the biggest pop group in the world.
We had a private jet,
I'm just getting
huge
chills.
stadiums. The audiences were just
chills.
going wild.
I think Dad loved it. I think he loved every moment.
It was just a wonderful time. Magical.
Saturday Night Fever. It was such a phenomenon. What was the impact on you personally, your families?
For me, the things that changed was don't answer the phone. The things that changed was people climbing over your walls. And the FBI coming to your door and telling you that somebody was to shoot you, you know.
Really?
Not everyone loved disco. All of the upsides of it, I loved. I enjoyed it. Everyone enjoys getting attention.
What is the best thing about stratospheric fame?
Getting, wanting something and getting it. You know,
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
What was the most absurd purchase you ever made?
It was a Lamborghini, and it went back in 2 weeks.
Why? Wrong colour?
Beautiful colour. But I discovered that it was wonderful to get into, but I couldn't get out of it.
There are tricky doors, aren't there?
And I spotted myself in a shop window, trying to get out of it. And I had to roll out of the car. It's just silly.
You developed an iconic look through that period, Barry Gibb.
Oh, God.
Now, there was an allegation, unproven, that you wore a chest wig.
No. None of us, specifically, categorically, none of us ever wore chest hair. None of us were aware of it.
These were your real chest manes.
Well, Robin had quite a hairy chest.
Yeah.
I was badly scalded as a child. So I don't have a hairy chest. I have a fantastic scar.
We've got another picture to show you.
Yeah.
Twins, Robin and Morris, younger brother Andy. And the hair is really going for it here. Yeah. What's the look you're going for there, Barry?
Windy. But the green pants, Robin used to wear these green jeans all the time, and I often talked about it on stage, and always bewildered me. And he dyed his hair the colour of his dog, and I think so. There was different. He had a red setter, and he dyed his hair red.
As we sit here, you're in a very unusual position of being the eldest of 4 brothers, and yet you're the one who has survived, and your 3 younger brothers have all died. What is that sensation for you like?
Devastating. We were a group for 45 years. We were glued to each other, you know. So if I thought something, they knew, and if they thought something, I knew. It happened with Andy when he was only 30, and that was a heartbreaker. I mean, that was destroying for the whole family, because the whole family really hadn't witnessed losing anyone. Morris was the next one we lost, and I never stopped thinking about their characters, you know. Robin's character was extremely humorous. Morris was very open, and you put us all together, and that's what made it work. It wasn't just about writing songs, it was about singing in harmony. You've said in an interview that you've had some strange kind of paranormal experiences since your brothers died. Yeah, yes, they are. Well, I saw Robin in my house in Miami walk across from the front door to the bar, and I went to look, and there was nobody there. And maybe, you know, maybe it's in your own head, but it was Rob. Did you find that a disturbing experience or a very nice experience? Nice experience. It wasn't scary. It was just, oh, there's Rob. Would you like to elaborate on you, Linda, and what happened in Doctor Who's TARDIS? You were born Barry Allen Crompton Gibb on the Isle of Man on the 1st of September 1946. Your parents were Hugh and Barbara, and you had an older sister, Leslie. You were 18 months old when you tipped a boiling pot of tea over yourself, is that right? Yeah. I remember pulling the boiling pot, and I don't have any memory of it after that. According to my mum, she said I didn't speak for 2 years. So I think I was in hospital for a long, long time. You were in a coma, weren't you, for a while? Yeah, but I don't know about it. We were told you were 20 minutes from death. Well, they told me that. Mum told me that. And in terms of the physical scarring? Well, school was a little awkward. Going swimming, something was wrong with you. You know, you had this scar. And because it's quite extensive, isn't it? It is, my entire chest. And this arm, see? Wow. It's extensive. Your younger twin brothers, Robin and Morris, were born in December 1949. Yep. What's your first memory of those two? The 3 of us finding a baby in a stream, in a box. Really? Yep. And I remember us taking this baby. What? Floated by, just floated by. Alive? Yes. And a baby floated by you in a box? Like the baby Moses, or what? Do you get a feeling random stuff happens to you, Barry? What the hell? Well, we could have just left it float by. That didn't be perfectly normal, would it? Well, that's my first active memory of my brothers and me taking this baby out of the stream. And saving his life? I suppose, but we never knew who the baby was. And we took the baby to a nearby house. They took the baby in. They told us to go home. Never heard another word about it. But never forgot. I've got a surprise for you. Did you see it tonight? It was me.
Wow.
Good to see you again.
And on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you. You said in an interview that you and your brothers were right little tearaways. Well, it was verging on criminal. I mean, we would... Well, it was criminal, wasn't it? You just didn't get caught very often. I got 2 years probation. You did? Yeah. For what? Stealing a mini car out of a child's driveway. You had to set fire to things, the Gibb brothers. We loved building little fires. You know? Setting fire to things? No. Well, you would set little fires, and then things would accidentally catch fire. That's true. We built a little fire, we put bricks around it, behind a whole set of billboards. And then instead of putting it out, we just leave it, you know. We used to go to the baths and swim, and we go and get our towels and come back down the street, and there's traffic everywhere, and there's smoke, and the billboards are all over the street, and we thought, oh my God,
that we didn't put the fire out, you know? And there was a policeman standing on that corner right next to us, and we had our towels under our arms. And he looked at us and he went, yeah, he said, we'll catch him.
Oh my God.
Your father was a drummer and a band leader. Your mum was a singer. So music was obviously a big part of the Gibb family.
Yeah. My dad had a 13-piece band during the war. And when we first started playing, I think when I was about 9 years old, 8 years old, the three of us started really singing together and harmonizing. Dad would be the drummer. We would get a chance to play somewhere and Dad would play the drums.
What kind of man was your dad?
Oh, my God. Very dogmatic. Very dogmatic. I wouldn't say... He could be an angry man. He could be aggressive. He could be a very aggressive man. But at the end of it, by the time we got to our teens, he had the same dream. He began to realize that his kids could actually make something of themselves.
And then you emigrate as a family. You found fame in Australia. You, Barry, were a very good-looking, successful teenager with a great voice. You described yourself as a rogue with the ladies. Would you like to elaborate?
I don't know if I was a rogue. Did I say that?
Well, your words, not mine.
I always had to have a relationship, even when I was about 13 or 14. And believe me, I was dumped and rejected more times than anyone can imagine.
At one stage, you had 6 girlfriends when you were either 15 or 16. And when I say 6 girlfriends, I mean at the same time, Barry. And each of them had been led to believe you wanted to marry them. Because your little trick was to carry a stash of rings in your pocket, ready for use whenever they were needed. Let the jury know no denial whatsoever.
I had an A-ring.
What one you just kept using?
Well, yeah.
How many times in that period did you propose marriage?
Stop it. Every time.
Barry, in the late 60s, you and your brother shot to fame, and it wasn't just your songs which were driving the fans wild.
Just for fun.
In 1967, the Bee Gees were storming the charts, and Barry was becoming an icon.
At the end of the 60s, the Bee Gees were huge.
Barry looked the perfect pop star, really. Not a hair out of place.
You opened any of the magazines in those days, and he was always there. He was always incredibly well dressed. Most guys were a little bit jealous, I think.
And they had good reason to be jealous.
Barry was an incredibly good-looking young man. Every female in the world fell in love with him.
Barry Gibb was like Prince Valiant. He just stood there and people screamed in excitement.
I think he loved it, being the sexiest man alive. Morris and Robin loved it too, but yeah, maybe Dad milked it a little more.
But Barry was keeping a secret from his swooning fans. He was already married. Aged 19, he'd wed his teenage sweetheart Maureen in Australia before moving to England.
She was his first real love in Australia. He told me it just seemed like the thing to do because back then people fell in love young, got married young.
But Barry's passion for his career drove the couple apart.
The music took over everything in his life and he just didn't really have anything to give to a relationship at that time. And he was so young.
He separated from Maureen.
There was still, so much for him in his mind that he needed to achieve.
On September the 21st, 1967, the Bee Gees were on TV with their first #1 single.
In Massachusetts.
That night, Barry's life...
Wow, folks, what an earful. I'm going to take this opportunity to stop it right here and just gather my thoughts on everything that I've heard here. So much to take in. One thing that got me so far in this interview is they mentioned that by the end of the 60s, the Bee Gees had elevated to extreme fame. But it wouldn't be until almost a decade later, in the late 70s with Saturday Night Fever, where it would take it even higher to the stratosphere. It's amazing. Folks, I love this interview because it shows the brothers in all their humanity, you know, their mistakes, their growth, you know, as brothers and as a group, as a whole. It shows their background, you know, with their mom and dad, with Australia, and then going to England and just starting from there. I tell you what, folks, this interview is just a wild ride. I mean, it takes you on an emotional roller coaster, highs and lows. You laugh with them, you want to cry with them, you know, all the stories, the life stories that are depicted here. And Barry's perspective as he recollects his life, it's amazing. You know, I'm really glad that, you know, he acknowledges the devastating blow on the loss of his brothers. I mean, and who wouldn't, you know, that's his brothers. And the fact that the Bee Gees would never be the same, they wouldn't be the Bee Gees anymore without the twins. The thing I love about the Bee Gees and Barry is their endurance. And ultimately Barry's endurance being the only one left because, you know, of all the things that they endured. Yes, they had a stratospheric high in their careers, but they also had devastating lows. And through all of that, it takes a massive amount of strength and endurance to stay grounded, to stay focused. And, you know, I believe that with Linda at his side, God only knows that that was an immense help to him going through his lows after losing his brothers. Love this interview so far. Can't wait to jump into part 2 a couple weekends from now. You guys stay tuned. I love getting the inside scoop on these guys to get a more detailed picture of what the brothers were really like. Thanks so much for this request, all of you guys. And you know, folks, I just got to end with this. It's just a reconfirmation of what we've basically known all along. There will never be a band like the Bee Gees. Until next time, folks, take care. God bless.